everyone. This is the Changemaker Conversation Series. I'm Afton Brazzoni, founder of Scribe National. I'm really excited to be here with my August guest, Matt Kenny, who's the lead strategist at Nectafy. And they are a growth content company. But I'm actually going to hand it right over to Matt to kind of tell everyone a bit about yourself, what you do. And of course, thank you so much for being here, Matt.
Yeah, of course. So as you said, Afton, thank you so much for having me. I'm the lead strategist here at Nectafy. So what we do at Nectafy here is we work on what's called growth content marketing. And with that, it's pretty much like content marketing, where what we're doing is we're creating content in the form of blog posts and content across the website to just help our clients grow their organic users and their organic leads to those websites. And so what I primarily do as as the lead strategist here at Nectafy is I help plan out content calendars. I help us devise and create buyer personas for all of our clients. And then I also work on different strategy related projects to the website, like A/B testing or just trying to create different landing pages and just trying to help our clients grow their, like I said, organic leads and their organic users.
Awesome. Well, as anybody who's kind of been following my videos for a while knows, this is a really, really important business function to be doing. So I'm excited to dive more into this topic with you. And I
Yeah,
mean, specifically around keyword research and organic
of
growth
course.
that way. Can you just kind of give us all sort of a primer on why that is so integral to marketing?
Yeah, keyword research is probably the biggest thing that we have here with our strategy overall. So as I said before, I do content planning here at Nectafy, and one of the largest components of that is the keyword research. And so what that means is going across Google and going across all these different platforms and finding what are users actually searching for on a monthly basis. What are the questions that need to be answered by our target audiences? And what is the quantity of those topics? How much are they being asked? And so through keyword research, we're able to identify, okay, our target audience is asking for, certain questions around this topic. And so we're able to create and devise content strategies based around those questions. So really what we're trying to do with all of our growth content is help support our target audience, whether that's they have questions that are directly related to the product of our clients, or even sometimes outside of that a little bit. And that's kind of where you get into, the top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel with content marketing.
Yeah, and the other thing I'd love for people to take away about that is what Matt said about really supporting the audience and finding the answers they need. And so again, if you're at all familiar with Scribe National, I talk a lot about the fact that doing that is really critical to building relationships. And obviously we can see here that that's how you're approaching it at Nectafy is really being helpful to people.
Yep. At the end of the day, what we're trying to do is just create helpful content.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. Okay, so I get a lot of questions about content marketing. I'm sure you do too. What
Yeah.
would you say are some of the most common misconceptions or challenges that you see people having, either with keyword research or kind of this whole organic approach to marketing more broadly?
Yeah, so great question. Some of the most common misconceptions that I get typically from clients is that the higher the search volume for a keyword, the more valuable it is. That's probably the largest one actually. And the reason why that's not exactly true is you could have certain keywords like, let's say, digital marketing could be searched, over 100,000 times a month. But if it's not directly helping your target audience, then it's not as valuable of a keyword as, let's say, someone looking for digital marketing, need help with writing a blog, or some sort of long tail keyword like that, something more specific. So I would say the most common one is if you're looking at keywords and you're just saying, hey, this has larger search volume than this other one, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's more valuable. The most valuable thing that I see from keywords is actually the search intent. So how does Google actually organize a list of URLs based on the keyword or the query that someone's typing into it? And so once you see that Google organizes their SERPs, or their search engine result pages, it's an acronym for that, SERPs. Once you see that those SERPs are organized in a certain way, like, oh, it looks like for this keyword, there is usually a list of different things to do, or a step-by-step instructions. So it really depends with each keyword. And I wouldn't say that just because it has more search volume on a monthly basis makes it more valuable than another keyword.
I think that's a really good point. And I've often heard as well that sometimes if the search volume is really high, if your website has a lower domain authority, you may not even rank for, like, it would be more challenging for you to rank for it anyway. So, yeah.
That's a great point. That's actually why here at Nectafy, what we like to do is that we like to categorize our clients into different phases, because there are different strategies for how to grow a website based on where they're at with their domain authority. So typically what we like to do with our clients that we're just starting out with phase one, it's actually called the authority building phase, is we try to identify keywords that have some search volume behind them, but obviously not in the thousands or anything like that. And they have a difficulty level that is obtainable for them at that lower domain authority threshold. And so what we like to do is we use a tool called SEMrush, and through that, we're able to identify the monthly search volume, and then also how difficult is it for us to write a blog post and get ranking for that keyword.
Yeah, excellent. And you know what I want to point out to everyone here is just, and this goes for your marketing across the board, be intentional. Like, this is a great example of how, you know, Nectafy is being strategic and intentional for their clients, because you never want to be marketing and just sort of wasting your time, really, to put it bluntly, because obviously we're all strapped for time. So yeah, I love that idea. I think that, you know, that's a really good tip and certainly a common misconception.
Yeah, and
Now
just
what
to
are,
add on that
oh
also,
yeah, absolutely, go ahead.
that's cool. Just because, yeah, no, that brings up a great point. What we'll typically see with new clients is actually, that's a great point about being intentional. What they'll have on their blog posts is something along the lines of, here's our summer picnic. Here's some pictures, and that's great, right? You want to build up your, you know, brand and show that you guys have, that they have a company culture. But if you're trying to build a sustainable, you know, a sustainable volume of organic traffic on a monthly basis, you really do have to be intentional with the keywords that you're going after, because those articles that are just covering, you know, company news, company picnic, or things of that nature, those aren't going to last, you know, months after time. And it's not going to be the main way that people are coming to your website, or it's not going to help bring more users to the website.
So true. Yeah. And that's where content strategy is super important, because like Matt said, you can have a few, you know, have fun, but yeah, for the most part, it's definitely about really being strategic.
Mhm.
So kind of on that note, what are some tips that you'd offer people if they're like, okay, this, you know, this sounds legit, I want to get started with keyword research? How would you say they go about that?
Yeah, the first thing that I would say is you have to try and build a buyer persona for your target audience. You have to do the research and understand kind of the ins and outs of what your target audience wants. That's why that's one of the first steps we do here at Nectafy when onboarding a client, is we build up that buyer persona. So that's using you know, secondary research that's out there. So understanding the role or position that you're trying to target, and looking at different job boards and job descriptions to help understand what are their needs and wants, as well as interviewing actual customers. So just, you know, getting them on the phone or getting them through a Zoom call or something, just asking them about what they do in their daily work schedule, and seeing, are they searching for stuff? Are they going through different channels? Do they like to go to YouTube to look up new stuff, or do they like to learn primarily through Google? And so once you understand your target audience and their needs and wants, then that's really that's where you can start doing some keyword research and identifying, okay, this is my target audience. Let's come up with a list of keywords that they would probably type into Google in order to help, you know, and improve their daily work. And from there, then you just have those seed keywords. The next thing that I would say is use different tools. Don't just stick to one tool, because then you won't be able to find as many keyword opportunities. So what I like to do with my keyword research is use, you know, a multitude of different tools. I already mentioned SEMrush, but there are also free ones out there. So it doesn't have to be just a pay to play game. There's ones like Uber Suggest is a free keyword research tool, and then also Answer the Public offers some free keyword suggestions. And then even Google Keyword Planner you can also use. That's also a free tool. They might not give you as much information if you're not paying for ads, but they still give you information and different keyword opportunities nonetheless. And so that's two. Let's see, the last thing that I can think of is actually Google the keywords. If you come up with a list and you have these ideas from these tools, what you need to do is actually go and look how that SERP is being organized. So how is Google organizing that information? Because that's going to be really helpful in showing what users value the most, right? Typically with Google's algorithm, they have it in a way where they're able to identify what's the most helpful piece of content for something that someone types into Google. And so if you look at that top blog post or that top page, then you can see exactly what users are finding the most helpful to them. And then you can try and find a way to replicate that and improve upon that.
Excellent advice. Some juicy stuff in there. I hope everyone took notes. Some of those free tools, definitely take advantage of that. Absolutely, especially if you're just getting started with it, then you can
Mhm.
kind of see what works for you from there. But yeah, thank you, Matt. That's awesome. Very helpful.
Mhm.
Now, is there anything else you wanted to add? Or, really before we wrap up, I definitely want to share how anybody can reach you or get in touch with you, or just any final thoughts you might have.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I guess the one point that I'd like to drive home the most is really understanding your target audience. That's really where a lot of this keyword research comes into play. So building up that buyer persona is the most important part of keyword research, I'd say, in my opinion. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'd say you could also reach me at matt@nectafy.com. That's my email address. Pretty easy, straightforward. And then you can also reach me on Twitter at, it's just my first and last name turned around. It's at Catmenny. So it's KATTMENNY. And that's about it for me.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing this advice with us. I know sometimes for people it can be really complicated, but I think you broke it down. It makes a ton of sense. And I hope everyone will try some of these things in their business or on their marketing team. All right. Well, take care, Matt, and everybody who's watching. Thank you. If you haven't subscribed yet to our YouTube channel, we would really appreciate it. And I'll be back again next month with another Changemaker interview, as well as having a few marketing tip videos interspersed in there. So take care. Bye-bye.